there everyone, this is Ashley with Marshflower Studio. In this video I'm going to be showing you guys how to make this cute tiny little mouse. So it's a pretty easy project, pretty simple pattern to follow. The hardest part is going to be the ears, but I'll try to make sure that I go nice and slow and kind of zoom in so you guys can see what I'm doing there. But overall, it's a cute little mouse, perfect for keychain sizes. So of course I am using my 4mm hook for this mouse. You can do all kinds of different colors for these guys to make them even more adorable. I've got my mousy brown. The one I'm going to be using, or the color I'm going to be using for my demonstration is a white. So I'll have a white mouse and a brown mouse. But you can make them in whatever color you want. Sometimes the more crazy the color, the cuter the mouse turns out to be. So my little demo mouse doesn't have eyes, but I do have some eyes, and I will show you kind of what that looks like. I might actually put eyes on my white mouse today. So you can see with or without eyes, they're still pretty adorable. Make sure you give this cute little mouse a thumbs up. Yes. And subscribe so you can see other videos as they come out, and don't forget to go back and watch any of the ones that I've already posted. Okay, so to get started, we are going to have a magic circle, and we're going to have 4 single crochets in our magic circle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to have 2 increases and 2 single crochets. So I'm going to put my 2 increases side by side. It really doesn't matter if you want to do an increase and a single crochet and an increase and a single crochet, as long as you end up with 6 stitches for the round. So there's 1 and 2. Then I'll do 3 and 4, and then 5, 6. All right, so our third row is just going to be 6 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right, so that's his little nose. In our next row, we're going to do 6 increases, and this kind of creates his little face area. So we'll have 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8, 9 and 10, 11 and 12. All right, so this next row is where we are going to create our ears. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and zoom in just a little bit. So hopefully this will be really easy to kind of see. I'm actually going to lower where my camera is too. All right, so we're going to do 5 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, now for the first ear, we're going to start with front loop only, slip stitch. Okay, and as your next round, that does not count as a stitch. Okay, we'll get there. We're going to do 4 double crochets in that same front loop. So there's 1 double, there's my second double, my third double, whoops, and my 4th double. And then we're going to do another slip stitch into that same front loop, and that gives us that little ear shape. Okay, we're going to do 3 single crochets, and then we're going to do the other ear. So 1, 2, and 3, and then again front loop only. We're going to do a slip stitch and then 4 doubles all through that same front loop. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then we'll slip stitch back in that same front loop to finish that ear. Okay. For the last 2 stitches of this round, I'm just going to slip stitch both of those like so. Okay. In our next row, this is where it's going to get a little bit complicated for a second. Tiny toddlers in the background. We're going to have an increase and a single crochet and an increase and a single crochet and an increase, and then let's see, this right here is your slip stitch from creating this ear, so we're not going to use that as anywhere to put a stitch. Instead, we're going to kind of fold this ear forward, and we're going to find that back loop for that stitch and do our single crochet in that. Oops, sorry, I'll undo that. When I'm zoomed in, sometimes it's hard to figure out where I need to be to make sure you guys can still see. So I'm going to fold my ear forward, and I'm going to go into that back loop from where we use the front loop to make the ear, and I'm going to do my single crochet under that back loop there. Okay, and then we'll kind of pull our hook back up to the front row, and we're going to do an increase right beside the ear. And again, make sure that you're not in that slip stitch where we finished our ear. And then we're going to have a single crochet and another increase. Okay, and again we have the slip stitch where we started our ear, and we don't want to use that. Okay, but again, I'm going to fold my ear forward, and I'm going to find that back loop from where I use the front loop to make the ear, and I'm going to use that for this single crochet. Okay, so I folded my ear forward, and I went into the back loop from this front loop. All right, so then we're going to have another increase right up here by the ear, and remember not to go into that slip stitch where we kind of finished the ear, but there are 2 slip stitches right beside that. So I'm going to do an increase in one and a single crochet in the other. All right, so from here it gets a lot easier. So we're going to do 4 rows of single crochet. You should have 18. We'll zoom back out a little bit. We should have 18 rows, not 18 rows, 4 rows of 18. Trying to get ahead of myself a little bit here. We just have some nice, easy single crochets all the way around. All right, so there's 1 row. So I'll tell you guys, this is the 3rd time attempting to make this video because my tiny tornado toddlers were not having the best day. And I can't remember if, oops, I bumped the table. I can't remember if I already mentioned, but if you are planning to make these for a pet, make sure that you try to use pet-friendly materials as much as possible. And as soon as one of the threads breaks or stuffing starts to come out, you need to take it away from the pet. Especially, well, I don't put eyes on things that I know I'm gonna give to a dog. I don't have cats, so that's not as familiar for me whether or not that would be a problem. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. So I'm gonna stop right here for a second and grab my eyes. I ordered a ton of different eyes when I first started doing this kind of thing, and I had no idea what sizes I would actually need, and I started making the larger stuffed animals, so I was using bigger eyes. But now that I'm doing lots of the keychain size things, especially for these videos, I'm using up a lot of my small eyes, which comes in handy. But the downside is I have no idea what size these actually are. So I would say find something that kind of seems like it's an appropriate size and just go with it. So I'm going to push these in on either side. And these are going 1, 2, kind of between rows 3 and 4. Those eyes look a little bit crooked. I'm going to take this out because I think that was what was throwing me off. All right, so I think this one needs to go up here. That's better. All right, so I'm going to kind of turn this inside out for a second to get the backs put on. And you can put your eyes on as soon as you know where your ears are. I just quite honestly forgot that I was going to put eyes on this one. Oh. Alright. That didn't really want to go. We'll try the other way. Sometimes the backs. So there's two different ways you can put these suckers on. So there's this way where you still have kind of a cup up, or your cup is kind of facing down into your project. I like to do it this way more often, just because the eyes feel a little bit more secure to me. But sometimes, depending on the back, they don't want to go on that way. I'm actually going to grab another eye and back. So they'll just be the same. So we'll put that back in there. Oop, tiny toddlers. All right. I did one project where I had the backings on facing different directions. And when it was finished, you could kind of see that one still stuck out a little more flush with the surface of the yarn, where the other was kind of tucked into the yarn. It's allergy season for me, you guys. My apologies. All right, so I've got my 4 rows of 18. I've got my eyes in. I'm going to do a decrease row down to 12, so I'll have a single crochet and then a decrease, so that'll be 2, and then we'll have 3 and decrease on 4. We'll do 5, decrease on 6, 7, decrease on 8, 9, decrease on 10, 11, decrease on 12. Okay, and now we're going to put a little bit of stuffing inside our mouse, and they always take more than you think they would. All right, and I leave my starter tail out because I use that to tie off at the end. If you don't, then by all means shove it in there and get it out of your way. For the very end of this, depending on your tension and your string and your hook and all that great stuff, you may need to kind of move where you attach your tail, but I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4 decreases, and then in the 5th, after that 4th decrease, I'm going to do a slip stitch. I'm going to chain 8, and then from the 2nd chain from the hook, we're going to slip stitch 7 back towards the mouse butt. I'm going to slip stitch into that same stitch that I started with. just so that tail is nice and attached there. And then I'm going to do 2 more decreases. Sorry, forgot that I was zoomed in again. Zoomed in more than normal. So because of where I ended on this back side, I did 4 decreases so that my tail would be kind of at the top of the back and not underneath him. We did a slip stitch into that very next stitch here, chain 8, 7 slip stitches back towards his behind. I put another slip stitch in that same spot where I started the tail, and then I did 2 more decreases to kind of close up this back side. So I'm going to do my slip stitch here to kind of close off the end of the mouse. And we're going under the front loop only, from the outside towards the inside. And we're going to do that all the way around. Whoops. Make sure you go under that tail, because you don't want this to pull your tail down. So we want to make sure that's out of the way, and we just go right underneath it here. We're back to the start. I'll use my starter tail to tie a little square knot here. That is the sound of my toddler really loving whatever she is watching right now. All right, so then I'll take my little tails, we'll feed them back through our mouse, kind of pull that behind back out there. We'll trim off our ends, and there is our little mouse. So quick, easy, cute little project. It doesn't take very long at all to make these. You can make a whole bunch of them. Make sure you give the cute little Mises a like and subscribe to the channel so you can see other cute little projects as I get those videos made. Check out the other videos that I've already put out. There's some really cute things in there to try. I also have a website where I sell some of these things that I make. So you could go over to themarshflower.com and check out the website. There's a page that's called Gallery that is just photos of tons and tons of different stuff that I've made. Some of the most recent stuff has not been added yet, because I much prefer doing these kinds of things versus those kinds of things. But if there's anything on there that you really love and would like to see me make in a video so you can follow along, just shoot me a message and I will get working on that. So thanks for watching, you guys. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.